Hello, RoahmMythril here once again. Just kind of wanted to record a talky bit video to let everyone know what's been going on around here, where we all are right now. My apologies if my voice is a bit off during this video. The local pine tree population is exploding with pollen and joy, and my sinuses are crying out in agony. Springtime allergies. Yay. So, pretty much the big news is we had the funeral services for my step-uncle yesterday morning. Yesterday in general was just weird for me. I was in kind of a haze through the entire day. I was basically on 3 hours sleep. I knew I had to get up early that morning because we were going to be leaving at 8 a.m., so I had to get up by 7:30 in order to have time to get dressed up and ready to go. Which, yeah, I am generally a night person, so hours like 7:30, they do not regularly exist for me. So I tried to make myself go to sleep early, but that just doesn't work well. I've never been good at making myself go to sleep off schedule, and I am also a bit of an insomniac, so yeah, that worked against me, and I was on 3 hours sleep for pretty much the entire day. So I get up, I get dressed, we get ready to go, and the sky just opens up on us. It just starts pouring down rain. However, we actually kind of lucked out. Once we got in the car and we were on our way, the rain died down pretty quickly and it stayed pretty pleasant for the rest of the day. This was in stark contrast to my aunt's funeral services. That was late November, early December of that year, I think, and it was just bitterly cold, but not cold enough for the drizzle that was going on to become snow. And it was also this severe slicing wind. I mean, it felt like it was just cutting into your body. It was horrible. It was miserable on so many levels. But we're driving up to the funeral parlor, and then we get stuck in traffic on the highway leading into town, because they are doing major construction on the right-hand lane on that highway, and despite the fact that there's a bunch of signs on it saying merge left, people ignore it because, oh hey, this lane's empty, we can just drive in this forever, and we certainly won't hit a snag coming up ahead. Except, of course, they do, and then it creates a major traffic bottleneck. And so we're sitting there having to wait for things to merge into the proper lanes of traffic, including an 18-wheeler and a charter bus. So that was super fun. But we still fortunately made it to the funeral parlor on time, because they were doing the open casket viewing there. It was just the four of us there, the four remaining household members here, me, my mom, my cousin, and my uncle. And as we're sitting there, I was struck with just the sudden realization that seeing my step-uncle there in the casket, that was the first time I had seen him since mid-December when he first went back up to the hospital. I never got to see him in the hospital. It just never really worked out that way because of the four people here. My cousin, he had to stay and run the gun shop. My mom, she's basically the family keeper of information. I don't know how you want to say it, record keeper. So anytime doctors had major questions that needed to be answered, she had to be there. If she needed my step-uncle to sign something so that she could pay his bills back here, she had to be there for that. And my uncle, he's one of the few people in this family that actually drives anymore, so he had to be the one to take her up there. That means somebody had to stay here to watch the house, to stay by the phone, take care of the pets that are here. If it's raining, which it frequently was, take care of the leaks in my mum's room. So that fell to me, and I had to stay here and do that. So I never had a chance to go visit him at the hospital, and everything seemed positive, like he was going to be able to come home, so we never really thought of it as this big deal of, you need to go up there and see him. We don't know how much time he has left or anything like that. And so that just all kind of hit me while I was there. I I think it's why, for a while there, actually, I was able to handle this a little bit better than I was able to handle it when my aunt passed away. Because with her, she had been here at home the day that she went up to the hospital and passed away there. She complained of pains, felt she needed to go up to the hospital, and that was when her health took that sudden, immediate downturn, and she passed away that night. So it was just this sudden, she's home, and now she'll never be home again. With my step-uncle, he had been in the hospital since mid-December and hadn't come home for like 3 months. So it hit a point of his not being here feeling almost normal. Not good normal, but normal. And so it's like it took it a little bit longer for it to really process in my mind that, yes, this is all too terribly real. Uh, I don't even know if that really makes sense, but it's just kind of where my mind is on it, I suppose. But that just all kind of hit me while we were there. So we're sitting there just kind of exchanging stories about him, reliving the good times, as you do in that sort of situation. It's all you really can do. And then the funeral director comes in and tells us how things are going to go from there, what we need to do. And so we form this small little funeral procession. It's just the four of us in a car following behind his vehicle in the hearse. And we get to the cemetery. It was a small turnout. We kind of expected it to be. Uh, our extended family, over the years, it's dwindled as people have passed away, and a lot of the ones that are remaining, uh, they're to a point where they can't really get around all that well anymore. So we had two elder female relatives that were there, and a friend from my step uncle's place of work back when he was actually working before he had his stroke. He showed up. None of my step uncle's blood relatives were there. I mean, again, a lot of them, they just can't really get around well anymore, and they all live out of state, so it just wasn't feasible. I know one of them, for example, had back surgery, so they can't really get around that well anymore. One of them said she wanted to come here, but we never heard anything more from her. I've never met her. I was told that she's kind of the sort that she'll say she wants to do something, but then doesn't really follow up on it sometimes. She means well, but just kind of sometimes talks without thinking, I guess, is the best way to put it. So, it was a small gathering, but, it was still nice. It was nice seeing people. It was nice of his friend to show up like that. As far as the funeral itself, my step-uncle, he was buried with full military honors. They had a chaplain there from the Veterans Administration. They had a team there to do a 21-gun salute. We were told about all the symbolism behind that, and we were told about his military service. They had the flag bearers there, folded the flag, and presented that to my mum since she was considered next of kin there. And so it was a short service, but it was rather pleasant. It was nice seeing everybody, and he's buried now next to his wife. I have always said I'm not a religious person, but I am a spiritual person, so I do believe that they are together now in the afterlife, and all things considered, that's kind of a nice feeling. So, after the service, we all kind of went our separate ways. My group, my immediate family, we just came back home. Once we got in, there were a couple of other extended relatives that they came to our place, and they brought a bunch of food with them to give to us so that we wouldn't have to worry about cooking for the day, which was that was really nice of them. That was very kind. And we just sort of decompressed for the day, just kind of took some processing time. And so that's kind of how the day went. I mostly was just kind of playing mobile games to get my mind off stuff. I've been playing a lot of Disney Emoji Blitz and Cookie Run Oven Break. Both kind of charming games that just kind of help me get my mind off stuff. So, more or less where we are now is we're dealing with the loose odds and ends that need to be taken care of. Because, I mean, you have the immediate arrangements of what to do with the body that you have to make after the initial death. Then you have to make all the funeral arrangements and all that. And then there's all the aftermath, which that's the phase we're in right now. Case in point, two of the vehicles that we have on the property were in his name. There were other people on the insurance so that they could drive them, but they were under my step-uncle's name. And due to a recently changed law, I don't know if this is the case with the rest of the country or if this is just a Texas thing, but the little safety inspection sticker, you want to get that renewed? The only person who can take it in to do so is the person who owns the vehicle, who's actually on the title. And, well, he's not here anymore. So we have to figure out what we need to do about that. We have to see what all various accounts were under his name that either need to be closed out or transferred to other people, things like that. There's some insurance paperwork that still needs to be signed. They were hoping that they were going to have that at the funeral parlor on Monday, but they didn't. We're waiting to get called back about that and haven't heard anything yet, I don't think. So it's just all these little odds and ends that we have to tackle. We have to take care of all this, and it's finding the time and the will, the drive to do so in the midst of everything else going on. So that's pretty much where we are right now. If there's anything I can do to help out with that, I want to make sure that I'm available for it. So that's where I am. As far as channel stuff, I'm feeling better than I was, but I'm still just not 100%. I still just don't really feel that. So my tentative plan for now is I'm going to give myself the rest of the week off, and I'm going to see how I feel on Saturday. It's not a promise that I'm going to do any recording on Saturday, but I'm going to see how I'm feeling then. I'm hoping I get the right energy levels back soon to get back to work on things, because I'm eager to get back into working on something positive, give people something to enjoy, something to laugh at, that sort of thing, because I really do enjoy doing that. I just, I have to have the right energy levels and be in the right mindset for it, and I'm just still not really there just yet. But, hopefully soon. I do want to express my most deep, heartfelt thanks to all my fans, my viewers, my friends, everybody who commented on the last video, everybody who commented on my social media over on Twitter or Tumblr, people who emailed me, just everybody expressing their thoughts, their condolences, people who shared their own stories with me. It truly meant a lot to me. It really did, and I just want to thank each and every one of you. It just means a lot to me, and it's the kind of thing that just really tells me that I've attracted the right kind of audience over the years I've been doing this, and, that makes it for me. That's what makes all this worthwhile, and I'm eternally grateful to each and every one of you, and I can't thank you enough for that. But, anyway, I think that's about all I wanted to cover. Watch me remember something else I wanted to say, like, the minute I finish uploading this. That's just kind of where my mind is right now. But, I think that's pretty much it for now. So thank you very much for listening, and I hopefully shall see you again soon with some actual gameplay stuff, get back into MagMemel 2 and all that good stuff. And so, until next time, fare thee well.